Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast. We're at the start-ish of January. I'm here with the lovely Zinnia. Say hello, Zinnia.
Hello, Zinnia.
I'm BoredGamer, and we're going to be talking about Star Citizen stuff, although it's a quiet start to the year at the moment. And I was talking about, we're going to have Lunar New Year, that festival in January, as like the start of the year that you always do in January. And I'm thinking, it might not be in January now, Zin. Because it mirrors Chinese New Year, right?
Yeah.
Which this year is on the 10th of February.
Okay.
So it might be February. I may be incorrect.
So how come the Chinese New Year changes? Surely it's a fixed date.
Oh, I didn't, I have no idea. I haven't done any research on that.
Quick research.
Quick maths.
It's a new moon.
Yeah, it's the new moon, Zin. It's all to do with the cycles of the moon and the animals therein that push it around. So at the moment, I think the dragon is about to take over, and the dragon has the easiest time of pushing the moon. Just flies it around.
Uh-huh.
It's perfect. Yes. So something. I'm so sorry. I literally have no idea on that at all. It's never been something I've researched. It's never come up in a pub quiz. So I literally don't know. But yes, it's to do with the face of the moon or something. You said the new moon?
Yes.
That makes sense. Sort of like the way they do Easter and things like that. It's the last Sunday of the first Pentecostal month.
Mm-hmm.
Don't unmum me. I'm talking nonsense. But yes, so Lunar New Year may be in February, although it might not be. Because, and the reason it might not be, is because obviously Star Citizen set 930 years in the future. Now, do CIG mirror the date of it, or are they going to mirror the date of it for the 10th of February? Or are they going to go, well, actually, in the future, it's always in January? Or are they going to work out what date it would be in 930 years' time?
That's a good point.
It's a good point, isn't it? So, I don't know. We'll sort of see. We might have Lunar New Year in January. We might have it in February. We're waiting for a load of other stuff to turn up as well, with a big chunky monthly report, CIG getting back from their holidays, although some of them are already back. It's just, it takes them a little while to get back in full swing. They've got scheduling meetings, all that sort of stuff. We've talked about it before. We're sort of waiting for all that to happen. In the meantime, though, there has been a little Alpha 3.22.0a mini patch, which you've done a bit of coverage on, Zin. I saw you get some footage of that salvage and repair tool.
You went, can you get me some footage on this? And yeah. I went, okay.
That is how
and I went and got footage on it.
That's a day in the life of. There you are. You got a little snippet of behind the scenes. So it's a new dedicated repair and salvage tool. Got bigger canisters. I don't think
it's faster. Like, I feel like it works at exactly the same rate, and I kind of wish it was a little bit faster than the multi-tool.
It'll get balanced and all that sort of jazz. I mean, it might be a little bit faster. I haven't actually used it.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I got you to use it. We'd have to do a side-by-side to work that out, and their effort. Oh. Also, with that patch, there's a load of new fixes. They're trying to get 3.22 into a really good state, which is good, because we're hoping that the 3.23 patch that we get at the end of March, hopefully, is going to be a genuinely fantastic patch with a load of core Squadron 42 features in, and sort of starting to seep in anyway. It's going to be a good year for Star Citizen, at least that's the hope. But you can expect Cloud Imperium to be running things like Xeno Threat and Siege of Orison and Jump Town and all that sort of jazz before then. Just trying to get the live build as in a good state as possible. And also you can look forward to the Pyro Playground and replication layer testing, server meshing testing potentially. We'll be jumping back into that, won't we? You'll have to jump back into the Pyro Playground playtesting and all other forms of alliteration. CIG, we're hoping they're going to be back this week. Do you think it's a possibility they'll be back this week, Sin? Or do you think, well, actually, it takes a while for them to get, even if they are back, it takes a while for them to get back online and we might not actually see any content from them really until
I don't know, isn't stuff supposed to be coming back this week?
Potentially.
Like the live stuff?
Maybe. So, no hard confirmations. By the time you see this, we might have had a This Week in Star Citizen, which will clear stuff up. But I'd say it's a 50-50 whether we get some stuff or a good amount of stuff back this week from CIG or if it's next week. As I said, January always quite slow, unfortunately. So something I thought was quite interesting to talk about even if it is numbers and financials and stuff, is, the financials that CIG put out last week. So Cloud Imperium are now employing over 1,100 people.
All over the world.
All over the world. That's excluding contractors, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But this includes Turbulent, because they now own Turbulent. And I think they're looking to push past 1,300 as soon as possible. So within the next couple of years, potentially even by the end of this year, they'll be in the thought of 1,300s. And I think they want to be in the 1,500s, quite genuinely, within the next few years. So that's a lot of employees, right?
Yeah.
And it's effectively an independent studio. It's an indie studio, kind of. Obviously, it's so large now that I think it maybe doesn't qualify to be called indie, but it literally depends on your metrics for validating that. Do you consider CIG an indie studio?
Not really.
What would make it an indie studio?
Well,
when did it stop being an indie studio?
I don't know. I suppose it kind of is.
Mm.
It is in essence the most independent because they have got so big and have made so much money,
and they're self-publishing.
But they're still independent. They essentially have no other company that tells them what to do.
Well, so that's an interesting one. So if you go, is there another company that tells them what to do or whatever? So obviously they do deals with people like Intel, and they've got the Calder brothers who invested a good chunk of money into them. But they're pretty independent. One of the more independent studios, certainly the most independent at that size. They've raised over, by my calculations, and you can look at a video on this, this goes over all of the sort of money they've made. They've raised, by my metrics, 834 million, or over that now.
Take that with a pinch of salt.
Take that with a pinch of salt, but that's probably relatively accurate. But that's sort of all money from all sources, including private investment and incentives back from like operating in the UK with government sort of grants and things like that as well. But they've spent a huge portion of that. So they have around, again, by my calculations, around 67 million in the bank. So I think they sort of had, at the end of 2022, they had around 65 million in the bank. So it's sort of hard to tell. They have expanded their studios since then, but they obviously made a bit more money. So between sort of 50 and 70 million is sort of how much they've got in the bank now. Now, do you think that's enough money? Do you think that's a healthy amount of money to have in the bank? Would you be concerned at that amount? Do you think they should be spending more of the money? I
mean, yeah, I think it's a good amount. It will help them if times get hard for a long period of time. Yeah,
it's good to know that there's sort of most of the money that they get funded goes directly back into the development of the game. They're expanding studios, getting more staff, all that sort of jazz. Like they're developing their studios as well. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh my god!" There'll be like a post about they spent loads of money on art for the studio. Actually, they probably didn't, but the people will comment on, "Oh, they bought expensive chairs for the office." Well, yeah, expensive chairs or good chairs for their employees for the office is good for the employees, good for the game, and shows that they're spending money on trying to put it back into the game rather than embezzle it or just take it out of the company or whatever. So that for me, that's good. They want to be spending that money on the game, on the devs, on the trying to make the game better. We do know that some of that money they've got in the bank is earmarked for various things like advertising of Squadron 42, sort of getting ready for the launch of that. It'd be interesting to see what sort of advertising campaign we'll see for Star Citizen and for Squadron 42. So what do you think we're going to see advertising campaign-wise in? Do you think we're going to see like a traditional advertising campaign? Do you think we'll see it like the Game Awards or Gamescom? Or do you think CIG will be much more sort of just adverts on YouTube? How do you think they're going to advertise Squadron 42 for a race?
I think it'll probably be mostly online.
Yeah.
Maybe the odd billboard here and there.
Okay. Do you think we'll see it at the Game Awards or whatever E3's become or things like that? Any game shows? Or do you think
probably?
Yeah?
I mean, if they can, why not? You know, it's...
Does look like they are still in bed with Intel. There was the recent stuff at DreamHack where they were giving away the Sabre Ravens again, and the Intel booth there was heavily Star Citizenified. So obviously they might advertise with Intel products.
But you've got a lot of companies nowadays who just don't bother going to like E3 and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, E3 is pretty much dead.
Yeah.
But Jeff Keighley's Game Awards is relatively popular and I actually quite like. And it's the sort of PC Gamer and some of the other companies, they sort of like do Game Awards and mini E3s or whatever. It'd be good to see CIG at like Gamescom advertising booths and a traditional advertising campaign, but we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do. the landscape has changed a lot since I started gaming many, many moons ago. Talking about many moons ago, Zin, I saw an interesting little pie chart meme of people talking about how many people have say that they supported since the Kickstarter. So I've noticed it as well. Huge swathes of people say, I've backed since the Kickstarter. It's actually a fraction. There's a tiny amount of people that backed the original Kickstarter of Star Citizen, which ended in 2012. I think that's like 35k-ish people, which is tiny compared to the over 5 million accounts that there are now. And so many people say that they've backed there. And obviously a lot of people, potentially, that they're active, they talk about Star Citizen regularly. Potentially, yeah, they were. I didn't back Star Citizen until later in 2013. So, and I think I'm pretty old school with Star Citizen. Obviously, I've been covering it for many, 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 many years rather than that sort of jazz. But I just thought it was that sort of an interesting thing. Do you feel that a lot of people that are in internet arguments that go, I backed since the Kickstarter and blah, 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 this is what I expect and this is what... Do you think they might be, talking out their ass, some of them?
Maybe. Or maybe they're just the most vocal because they're the most tilted.
Or the most informed or the most, into it, right? They were into it since the Kickstarter. I suppose when we're talking online, we're talking typically about people that are putting an angry statement together, but that's not always true. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Star Citizen community, I love the Star Citizen community. I genuinely think they're a fantastic community, and we do have an interesting level of polarization from the people that sort of hate Star Citizen, which I still consider part of the community, because they cover Star Citizen in their own way, right? They talk about it a lot. And then you've obviously got the more extreme sort of white knight. And then almost everyone sits between the two poles and mostly in the middle of waiting for a game and enjoying Star Citizen while it's being made, or getting frustrated with it, as often happens as well. Are you excited for 2024 though, Zin?
Yeah.
Yeah? You raring to go? Boom.
Yeah, kind of want it to happen.
Yes. That's exactly it. So really annoying at the beginning of the year because you're waiting for stuff to happen and
they've promised us so much.
Oh, so much. Like, will they be able to get some form of genuine, proper good base building in by the end of the year? Well, maybe not, but we'll have some form of base building probably. And things like that, like Summer, Pyro, 4.0, server meshing. That's pretty big. Been waiting for Pyro for a long time. Would you just be happy that they released it then, rather than sort of critical of we've been waiting for ages of Pyro? What's your sort of thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm just happy for it to be released.
Yeah.
Just glad it's out,
Yes, very much so. And all of that Squadron 42 stuff, sort of those core features coming into the game. I'm hoping that we see Squadron 42 release date announced this year, and CitizenCon should be massive this year. Hopefully in the UK, Sin and I almost certainly will be attending if it is, even though that might not be the most sensible thing for coverage, oddly. But really looking forward to 2024. I'm interested to know what people are looking forward to and what do they expect to see in 3.23 at the end of March. When do you think Lunar New Year is going to turn up? Do you think it's going to mirror the date of this year's Lunar New Year, so around the 10th of February? Or do you think it's calculated by the stars in 930 years? Or do you think they're always going to have it in January just because it's magical space, Star Citizen? It's not real. I know some people might be upset about that, but it's not real. And do you think CIG sort of finances are healthy, with like between 50 and 70 million in the bank? Or do you think that their rapid expansion is worrying or concerning? Because obviously they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger each year, and they need to release something at some point. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks very much for listening. Sorry it's a bit of a short one today. I'm sure that makes Zin happier because she needs to edit less. But yeah, hopefully new Star Citizen stuff soon.
The giant ape climbed the skyscraper, swatting at helicopters that harassed him. You look up at the massive 50-foot creature of muscle and hair. He's got you firmly in his grasp. Any more pressure and you'd snap like a twig. He brings you to his mouth, and then you realise you should have got yourself nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It would have provided you security and anonymity, preventing the great ape from finding you, but also accessibility to some of your favourite shows. Check out the links below for a massive discount and to help support the channel. Talking about supporting the channel, you can help by pressing that join button under my videos or even becoming a Patreon with the links below again. That goes a long way to helping us make daily Star Citizen content. A massive thank you to everyone that does that already or supports the channel in other ways like commenting, liking and sharing videos. We are just about to hit 200,000 subscribers, which is awesome, seeing we are a niche Star Citizen dedicated channel. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For January 2024, we are giving away a Drake Corsair. This is a very popular multi-role, multi-crew explorer ship that is very good at a huge range of stuff in the verse. It also comes with lifetime insurance and a game package, all you need to play Star Citizen, and all you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during this month. More details in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my channel and other videos on there as well, and I'll see you in the verse.